I actually missed the UK. We had a fun time in the UK.
UK is a good
London,
time.
Manchester.
I'm flying there in 7 hours.
Is that where the next card is?
No, I'm flying to London for a day.
To do.
Connor's movie premiere.
God, how long's that flight?
So 10 hours for a day.
And
10 hours there and 10 hours back.
And where are your parents?
I'm going to go down and see them probably for about an hour.
So where is the next card?
The Apex.
Damn, so you have to make it back in time for the Apex.
I mean, I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
I might
is the Apex card, is it that?
No, it's all right, but it's like I might. There's also another premiere in New York, so I'm basically I've got a gig here on Sunday that I want to go to. So I'm like, do I fly from London back here to go to the gig and then fly to Flogging Molly? You a big fan? Or?
What genre is that?
Irish rock, Irish punk rock.
Irish
it's on St.
punk rock.
It's on St. Patrick's Day. It'll be
like
a whole fucking to do.
Like sing a little Irish rock for us.
Well, I don't think it would be appropriate.
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No. No, I don't think I will.
Come on, don't be a little pussy. Give us like 5 seconds, a 5-second snippet.
If I ever leave this world alone.
Sounds like it's gonna be a banger of a night. Or the Leprechaun's gonna be out.
Yeah. So, but it's like, do I fly back here? Do I fly 10 hours to go to that gig and then fly 5 hours to go to New York, or do I just go straight to New York and skip the gig?
I mean, yeah, I could not do your job, to be honest. The whole traveling thing, it would cripple me.
This is the first time this year I've had to do something like this. Like a couple of years ago, I was banging out like international flights and back quite often. This one's the first time I've done a couple of days, a dayer, as it were.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Speaking about ouch, let's talk about the fights that went on this past weekend.
Fantastic transition, man. It's unbelievable.
Let's start with Knockout Chaos, the boxing in Saudi. Joseph Parkovic's Zhilei Big Bang Zhang. All right. Oh, man. I mean, well, you would have seen how the fight... Yeah, he got dropped in round 3. He got dropped in round 8, I believe. But other than that, Zhilei's activity was not there at all. He's 41 years old. Big frame. I know 41 is in boxing, in heavyweight boxing, is not 41 in other weight divisions, but I think it was starting. I think it was starting to show for Zhang because he should have, I mean, won the fight if he had done more after the knockdowns, the subsequent rounds after round 3, after round 8. But Joe was able to also kind of stop Zhilei in his tracks with what he was doing at some stages, and then that helped Joe recover, and it was a 12-round fight. 12-round fight, but Joe was able to, keep coming forward, keep being more active, landing combinations, more activity, and it was very happy for me to see because Joe's a fucking man. He's like so, I don't know, Joe is just a man. He's just a man.
He's a very nice man. He's come a long way. He lost to Joshua, and since then he's like,
yeah, and then had that devastating loss to Joe Joyce, but 5 in a row now, 5 big ones in a row.
Yeah, probably getting a title shot next.
No rematch clause
with Zhang.
Yeah, rematch clause.
Yeah,
so he's got to do it again, which I believe he can. I don't know. The whole landscape of heavyweight boxing now is, it has to go through the rematch clause of Zhang, and then we have to see how Fury and Usyk play out. Because if Fury wins, Fury has to beat him twice because there's a rematch clause there. And then AJ gets the winner of the Fury Usyk, however that plays out. But then I think the idea would be for the Zhang rematch to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of...
The only issue with that is like Joe and Tyson are really close friends. So I feel like if Tyson's the champion, they won't fight. I don't know if they won't or not, but that's like kind of the vibe they put out.
Yeah, but then Tyson still has to get through AJ. There's a whole lot of things that have to happen before either of those.
What did you think of Francis?
Francis. All right, we always knew. I mean, for us, it was always going to be a bittersweet main event because of the relationship Izzy has with Francis and AJ. Like AJ's family, like his parents, I think on his mum or his dad's side, I can't remember, are actually from the same village that our father's from in Nigeria. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And him and
That's
Izzy,
close.
Izzy and AJ have been, close over the years. After Izzy lost in New York at MSG, we're all bummed out, we're all gutted. I think it was the next day or something. I look at my phone. It's Anthony Joshua wants to send you a message. I'm like, what the fuck? Opened it up. It's a voice memo, and it's like him asking about
Like, hey, how do I get hold of your brother?
He was like, how are you guys? How's Izzy? When one fall, we fall. When one rise, we all rise. Something to that, like, if we need anything, reach out.
Very nice of him.
And then, I was like, damn, showed Izzy. But yeah, they're all close. I mean, Izzy's close with both of them. So the conclusion of the main event was always going to be bittersweet, but it just sucked because Francis got hurt pretty bad.
It was the old switch to southpaw was probably not really needed, was it?
Yeah. Ideally, we wanted to see, back and forth 12 rounds, them both having success, epic fight, and the winner, the winner is the winner.
Ngannou actually started off all right. Like he landed, I think, four decent jabs, and then just kind of arbitrarily switched to southpaw, and then it was just like, whoa, bang. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
and then it was like, you could tell, then he was like starting to bite on everything, and was a little kind of like fucking like, whoa, shit. And then it was the third punch Joshua landed is like something you see when they punch one of those boxing machines. It was just like, from back here.
And that second knockdown, you could tell in Francis's eyes that he wasn't clear. Like, he was
like the first one, when he got up, I thought he was actually okay.
That was a flash. That was like a flash.
After the second one, I was like, oh, he's fucked up.
And then he got up, and then the frame rate, he would have seen that big last right hook. Would have been so slow. No, because he wasn't there yet. So, like, it would have been, it would have looked so slow to him.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
There's a fucking, I mean, he's done it to so many people, and he like seemed okay afterwards and stuff, but it was just like, and then it cut to Tyson looking like shook. Like Tyson was ringside, like looking all down.
I think everyone was pretty shook, to be honest. I mean, yeah. That was yeah. On the flip side, Francis has done that to a lot of people.
Yes.
And
I mean, Alistair Overeem was there. Maybe Alistair Overeem got PTSD. Like, as he saw it.
Overeem was looking healthier now because he did have that. He did come out and do that interview, and he looked like he had lost so much muscle mass. It looked like he was sick, but he looks like he's put on some weight back on again.
Back on the horse meat.
Yeah. Back on the horse meat.
Or maybe he sees an opportunity in Saudi. He's like, fuck, get over there.
Yeah. But I mean, fair play to AJ. Congrats to both men. What they're saying, AJ made 50 million, Francis made 20 million. The bag was not fumble. Francis might have lost the battle that night, but he's won the war.
What did you think?
Would you agree?
Was happy? Do I think he won the war? I think it's like he got more money than he'd have made.
Yeah, that was the whole war. He was an aging fighter, making peanuts as a champion in the UFC. He knew he's got limited shelf life. He wanted to bet on himself and make the most out of his career before he hangs them up. And what better way to back yourself and go from making, I think they offered him $5 million to re-sign for his new contract. But screw all that and you make $30 million in 2 fights.
Yeah, what does he do now?
Whatever he wants. $30 million in 2 fights. I mean,
I mean, listen, I would be all for it if you want, but like, do you think he goes back to MMA or do you think he tries his hand at boxing like Wilder?
Whatever he wants. I mean, if he does another boxing fight, there's going to be intrigue. He performed well against Tyson. Okay, he got dominated. He got dominated against AJ, but I mean, I feel like there will still be an intrigue there for 1 or 2 more fights in boxing. Or
I
he
think
goes
the
back to
Wilder
MMA.
fight would still be big.
Pardon?
The Wilder fight would be the Wilder.
Yeah, there's still an intrigue. Yeah, like 100%, especially a wilder fight, because you damn near know someone's going to go down. But then on the flip side, he could wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't want to, I want to go sip pina coladas on Cameroon beaches for the rest of my life. Like, that's what I'm saying. He won the war. He can do whatever he wants. Looks after his family. Bigger star than ever. Endorsements and whatnot. He'll be making money from that too.
Do you think Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is good or what?
Oh my God! Hold on. I sort of like the spectacle aspect of it. With, AT&T, live on Netflix, this, that, and the third. But, I mean, you can't even blame... I feel like Mike has enough business ventures and, all this other stuff that he does to not have to do this. People are, bagging on Jake Paul for why you're taking this fight. You're fighting Mike Tyson. I feel like on the flip side, it also should be, where is Mike's self-respect? Of like, I'm a legend, I'm 60, he's got a poppin' podcast, he's got, business ventures. It's not Mike coming out of prison being broke. I need a fight. Mike is, he's set. So it's like, apparently Mike was in a wheelchair, last year or whatever?
I saw Mike at the UFC, I think it was last year. And he was using a cane.
Yeah, well, I've seen Mike with a cane.
Stuff, but I saw him physically using that. I also was there when he boxed Roy Jones Jr. I was one of the few people who got to go to that.
Yeah. But it's that's my question. People are bagging on Jake and, this, that, and the third. My real question is, where is Mike's self-respect as a legend in the sport? Like, why would he go out and put himself in this type of spectacle when he doesn't need to?
The Uber driver thing now kind of makes sense to me, because if they're trying to get this license as a pro boxing fight, which Ariel says they are, then Jake can't have gone and beaten anyone good. Because if Jake beat anyone good, they wouldn't license it. If Jake had beaten anyone like really, really good, they couldn't license this. So the fact he's only beaten a guy who like swept his garden that day is like good for him.
Yeah.
The Tyson thing you say is interesting. Like, why would Tyson do this? That is a good point. I just kind of think, for me, I'm almost a bit like Mike Tyson's a hero to a lot of us. I quite like my heroes. Not ever do I ever think about, like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to physically hurt a hero of mine. It never really comes into mind. So I kind of don't really get what's in it for Jake. Like, why would you want to go and knock out?
It's a spectacle for Jake.
You're a fucking dude,
For Jake, the Paul brothers are brilliant marketers. I feel like for Jake, it's like it's more about the spectacle. That's why it's AT&T Stadium. That's why it's Netflix.
It's like, can you not take a day off from that for a bit? Do you have to kill everyone's friend? Like, fuck.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think it'll be similar to the Roy Jones thing, where it was like an exhibition? They weren't actually allowed to knock each other out? Because I just like the visual of Jake like fucking teeing up on a guy who can hardly walk is like, what does that do for anyone? That's fucking mad. So I kind of assume there's going to be like, I feel like it's going to be Jake jabbing all night, like unpowerful jabs to the head, with Tyson occasionally flurrying to the body, and they kind of get through 8
But if it's an official boxing fight, then it can't be an exhibition.
No, well, they haven't decided. They haven't. It's up to Texas if they're going to license it or not. They're still in the process.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I definitely don't want to see an exhibition or for like something that's going to be a spectacle on this scale. If you're gonna build this up, if you're gonna, I'm not saying I want to see Jake go in there and fuck Mike up, but I don't want to.
It sounds like you do. You kind of been hard on Mark.
No. But like, don't go through this whole thing and go through the promo and the.
Mike's going to be lying there on the ground. You're going to be like, "This is what you fucking get, Mike. That's what you asked for. That's what you're going to be like." I can tell in your tone. You hate it.
Nah, but like don't go through this whole thing just to have an exhibition. But it's like, I'm sure I feel like.
I don't think they want to. I think they want it to be a proper boxing match.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, now listen, it will be the most watched fight in the 21st century, probably. How's training going? You training? You doing anything?
I've had a shit start to I've had a shit start to my 2024 when it comes to health and fitness. And I'm very disappointed in myself. I've got to turn things around.
I did good, and now I'm just kind of bored of it. But it's like, I can't really be bored of it yet. So I'm trying to...
What type of training are you doing?
Strength and conditioning and MMA.
Like what? Like what do you mean MMA?
Like I'm going to Extreme Couture and having MMA classes and sparring and stuff.
You're sparring.
Yeah.
Do I feel another fight in the works?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't like so the problem is, David, I've been offered a date and a location for a fight. But that date and location would require me probably to be sober during UFC 300 fight week. Well, the lads coming in that week. I don't really want, it's lads. So,
Yeah.
but it's also like, it doesn't help that like I'm flying to London today, New York tomorrow. So it's like, oh, that kind of fucks everything up. It's not even a good start, but yeah, well, I'm
If you didn't
penciled in.
fight on that date, when would be the next potential date?
Well, then it would be June. But then the problem in June is like, you know what my travel's like. It's like I have to
Yeah.
get very lucky with the exact right week. And then if
Yeah.
Connor's fighting in June, which we don't know, but obviously, like he wants to fight in June, like then that would be really tough. But I don't know. We'll see.
But all right, let's get into the UFC 299 card. What was it like being there in the arena?
It was good, actually. It was one of those ones where, as the main event was starting, you're like, oh, I have a pretty cool gig. Like it felt like when the two of them crouched down, they both crouched down and faced each other. It was like, oh yeah.
What,
So
just for the main event that you felt that?
I enjoyed MVP as well. Like his entrance was pretty sweet.
Dustin BSD?
I had to go backstage for Dustin BSD, so I didn't get to be out there for that, which was kind of bummed. But
Why? What happened?
I had to go interview MVP. So like,
I see you.
outside of that, I thought obviously I was out for Jack and Gilbert, and Tim was right behind me losing his shit, so that was very funny.
Any other standouts from the prelims? That big ass Taekwondo motherfucker of the 19-second knockout.
Yeah, it's funny to me, right? Like he's got the longest wingspan in MMA.
84
apparently.
inches.
Yep. But I've never seen him do that with his hands out either side. I need to see a wingspan shot, mate. Come on.
What? So what you think it's a conspiracy?
No, I'm sure he has. I just want to see it. I want to see his long arms.
Whoa.
It's easy. Just do it on the scale when you weigh in. Just do the Jesus pose on the cross.
Which arm are you talking about?
Well, I can only assume the devastation that one's caused. Probably a few 4-second knockouts in that as well.
So he was a standout from the early prelims. What about the normal prelims?
Okay, so the standout from that was not necessarily even Curtis. I thought the first round was like, wow, Curtis looks like he's lost. Like he just kept staring at his corner in disbelief. And then Shelton just dove at his leg and just chilled there for fucking ages. It was very strange.
That's what he does. Instead of recognizing that he needed to let go of the single leg and get out of danger.
But you'd think like after 5 punches to the side of the head, you'd be like, these aren't very nice and move. But he just fucking chilled.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking, but I was happy that the fight went that way and ended that way because I didn't like the fact that Almeida came out and just went in there, grappled, held onto his grip. And yes, there was some transitions, but like, I just hate when fights go that way.
It is a little, in the words of Masvidal and Diaz, crotch sniffy, I suppose you would
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
That's what you're saying. Why didn't you say that to his face, David? Why don't you go up to jail and Almeida and be like, you're a
because he would fuck me up.
I thought the best performance was Sean O'Malley and Dustin.
Yeah,
the best two.
Yan Songedong.
Actually, fair play to Yan. He turned the tide on that. I was like, oh damn, he looks a bit old, and then he like just used his experience. Song blew it out, and then Yan managed to
Song looked good as well.
Yeah, I think Song's got like all the raw potential, just maybe not like just all clicking for him. But isn't he like 25? So that might still be to come.
Yeah,
like it's
just room to go.
And again, it's like losing your pace to Peters in the last 2 and 3 rounds, 2 and 3. That's something you'll learn from, right, for your next fight. So
I agree.
Be applause.
I agree. Jack Della versus Gilbert Burns.
Again, like I felt bad.
What a way to fucking end a fight. Jack was down, scrambles out of the grappling, gets to his feet, and knows that Gilbert's gonna shoot again, and just that was a tough one to watch.
Yeah, I was impressed with Jack's scrambles. I was like, wow, to do this to Gilbert as well.
Jack has been very impressive as a fucking prospect.
Yeah.
And now looks like he's in what, title eliminator?
If he beats Shavkat, then yes, they would love to use him to skip Bilal.
Do you think that fight happens?
Shavkat Jack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn. When's Leon gonna fight? Because that's like, I feel like Leon's training, but for who?
I don't know.
There's just so many weird things happening sometimes. Like you know what I mean?
I think Leon's got a couple of options on the table.
Like who? Shavkat?
No, I think Shavkat's going to fight Jack.
Then who are the options?
Well, obviously
not Hamzat. You been hearing something?
I'm not. Just listen. You just like if they try to book it for 300, they might try and rebook it. You know.
Poor Bilal though. No one's going to remember his name.
Who clever? Who do you give MVP next?
Oh, that's welterweight too. Yeah.
He is. Well, everyone's talking about Wonder Boy, but I think that fight would be shit. So I don't want.
So does MVP. So yeah. So does MVP.
Well, it's just like does no one remember Darren Till versus Wonder Boy? Similar sort of vibe there. So I think that would be shitty. I would rather see him against. I want to see him against Ian Gary, but I think they'll do Ian Gary Colby.
Yeah. Man, there's so many fire matchups in welterweight.
Yeah.
I hope we see the Jack Shavkat. Hope we see Ian Colby because those are fucking fire fights.
Crazy. I would like to see. You could do MVP versus Usman, or is that too far? That's too much.
So what did Dana say? Dana said that we have to book MVP's next fight very carefully. What does that mean?
Don't give him a wrestler, probably.
I don't think that's what it meant. I feel like
fucking course it is. Well, they said what? Who else could it be?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe he was thinking, put him up against someone that wouldn't get as frustrated on the feet as Holland.
They could. I could see them doing like a Vicente Luque or someone like that. You know, Sean Brady.
I know MVP wants his route to a title shot. I know he wants one or two more fights, so it needs to be someone.
One more, and then he said he wants to fight in the Sphere, which is interesting.
But yeah, it needs to be a fight that propels him, puts him on at least a bare minimum 2-fight trajectory to the belt.
Yeah, well, that's why I was like, I think if Vicente Luque or Ian Gary, I could see them doing that. Not Ian Gary, Sean Brady. I mean, that'd be good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the co-main event.
I think Islam and Dustin are fighting in June. That's what I think.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
June in Saudi?
June 6th in Newark.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Because Islam wants to fight then. And they've both been on social media saying that's when they want to fight. So I presume that's when it's going to happen. Because obviously with all the other lightweights, it just makes sense for Dustin to get it. Because Justin and everyone will be busy.
Have they done any bookings for that fight card yet?
For the June one, no.
Yeah. Do you think it ends up being in Saudi?
No, June 22 is in Saudi.
Yeah, but you know how things play out.
No, I think June 22 is in Saudi.
So when's the June pay-per-view?
There's
June
one
29th.
on June. There's one on June 6th and there's one on June 29th.
That's right. I see you. Okay, so there's no chance of that happening. But yeah, what a fight! What did you think of the pace of that fight?
For someone who had been taking antibiotics and stuff, Benoit could maybe have paused his forward motion once or twice. But I was impressed with.
Did you know he was on antibiotics? Or was that confirmed?
Well, no, I knew he was on staff, judged by the fucking crater on his head that fight week.
Yeah,
I mean, that was when he came out saying he'd had staff. Was anyone like, you did, or did they just go, oh yeah, that was what that was?
Yeah, I mean, the pace was unbelievable. Probably,
yes, it was. It
could have been part of the game plan though, for him to push the pace and not let it drag out for 4-5 rounds.
I saw Volkanovski did a fight like watch along, and he was saying like, if this guy doesn't finish him, like he's gonna gas out, and then Dustin started coming on. But I actually thought Dustin, like before the finish, I thought Dustin looked a little slower than he has in the past, and I don't know if that was him just sort of biding his time or being overwhelmed, but I felt like he just looked a little more flat-footed than I've seen him in the past, so that kind of was like interesting.
Yeah, I think the pace through what's it called, Dustin off a little bit,
Yeah, maybe.
And because that's like so much pressure that you're dealing with, and then the size and the strength of Dennis as well, of Benoit,
of Dennis,
of Dennis. The size and the strength seem to be a factor too. So
yeah, he's a big lad.
Yeah, but
do you reckon Dustin has staff now?
I don't know. I hope he had a shower after the fight.
Yeah,
but awesome fight. Happy to see Dustin win. Surprised that he was the underdog, because I knew Dustin would KO him. It's just like the experience
Dustin
level.
Being plus money was mental to me. That was like disrespect.
That was insane. That was insane.
Yeah, it's a funny old division lightweight, isn't it? Because it's like every time they try and move someone up, like Fiziev or like some Benoit, like the top guys still just knock him off. It's like
it's tough to break through.
If Charles does that to Arman, that would be like, wow, these guys are here to stay, you know?
Yeah, it'll have to be a thing where you're just giving those guys that have already had title shots super fights.
Title shots. Yeah.
No, not like what they're doing with Gaethje and Holloway, for example, or 170 fights. You have to just get creative with the guys that are coming off failed title shots.
Throw the cat amongst the pigeons if Holloway won, eh?
This is true. And for the main event of the evening, Sean O'Malley looked. That was an incredible performance, and an even more incredible fifth round, which had the most output from him and the most significant strikes landed in the fifth.
Yeah, it was funny because in the fourth round, Cheeto came out like really aggressive, and I assumed he was going to come out in the fifth round, but then it was like O'Malley landed a jab right away, and it really looked like it hurt Cheeto, and Cheeto just showed up. But what about the body shot he landed in the final exchange?
Yeah, too little, too late. You should have done that.
Yeah,
you should have tried to make the fight uglier and dirtier early on.
That's kind of Cheeto though. Like how many fights does he have where he doesn't do anything?
And then the other part of it too was there was no grappling. There was no putting Sean in the clinch. There was no making Sean work.
Calf kicks. Didn't throw any calf kicks.
Not even the calf kicks, but just to slow down Sean's cardiovascular. He just let Sean just, stay on the outside and, piece him up and, come in, died out. Like, you have to mix in grappling if you want to fight Sean O'Malley. You can't just, because he'll do that. Sean can do that for 10 rounds. You have to slow him down somehow.
Yeah, his feints were sick, eh, Sean?
The feints, the footwork, the movement, the speed. You have to make Sean work and not just fight the entire fight. I mean, bantamweight's heating up too. I feel like Sean's real breakout moment will be when he beats / if he beats Merab. He's not broken through yet. I know they're trying to attribute the success of this card to his star power, but the card was stacked. The card was going to do well. That's not a $14 million gate fucking main event. The card was beefed up regardless of
I feel like every package they do about Sean, they tell you he's a superstar, and I feel like if he was a superstar, they wouldn't need to tell you that he is. But I agree with you. I feel like even though Merab might not be well known to the mainstream, just stylistically, if he beat Merab, everyone would be like, right, he's legit. We can all get behind him now.
No, I think he's legit. I don't think he's not legit. You're talking about the casuals.
Yeah, but I think even the casuals would respond to Merab. Win over wrestler. I just think it's like that one thing that's just missing.
And plus, that's a real intrigue fight. Rewatching the first fight, you knew he could beat Cheeto. Because I watched that fight, and it was only up until that one calf kick that it was like, damn. But before that, Sean was doing what he did for that whole 5 rounds, the striking, the footwork, the feints. Merab, I feel like, for me, I think Merab is the favorite? You're going in?
I think he's the slight favorite, or actually he's creeping up. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, in my opinion, Sean can beat anyone in that division, and can also put Merab away.
Merab's been cracked in multiple fights, and if Sean cracks him, he might knock him out.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's unwinnable for Sean, but I do think if Merab beats Sean, it'll look really ugly for Sean. It'll be 5 rounds of him fucking throwing him around and shit like that, It'll look like the Cejudo fight.
Yeah. So, that's a big intrigue fight, but that's a fight that doesn't need to be bolstered up with the strength that the Miami card had. Like that fight would sell itself.
But that's why I think like fuck the Elia talk for a while. Like,
fuck all that. Like there needs to be minimum requirements before any champ versus champ type fights. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for Sean versus Merab. Sean looks to be banged up. His arm was in a splint. He was in a moon boot. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Sean's activity rate, but you can't blame him coming off this fight because it was a 5-round war. But it could be I don't know, 7 months until we see Sean Merab.
I could see them doing it in December in Vegas.
Yeah, that's what.
Or New York, maybe.
That's
New York.
9 months. 9 months from now. Yeah, one thing I don't like about Sean is his activity, but some of that stuff you can't blame him for. But you do want to be more active.
They will want to put Sean in like places that'll get a big gate, right? So if you look at where they're going this year, like September, the Sphere, they want a Mexican in there, so he can't do the Sphere. Then after that, October.
What's in August?
Perth. So he's not going there. So then it will be like
October's Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, and I think also
November's New York.
New York, I could see them doing easily, or Vegas in December. You can charge big gates for those.
True.
So.
But then, yeah, we have to wait till the end of the year to see that fight, it looks like. But yeah, I feel like if Sean gets through Merab, that's his real coming out party. That's his real...
and then you do Sandhagen, or you do like if Umar's Nurmagomedov's up there, you do that. Like there's like fights, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Banger of a fight weekend. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate your time, Oscar. I still need to get my neon fucking things going.
Wish me luck on my 20-hour journey for like a 2-minute interview.
Yeah. I don't know why you couldn't just fucking hire a guy in the UK to go get a soundbite.
Listen, mate. The work is where the work is.
Your dedication when you do shit like that is fucking absurd. Yeah. I can't do your job. I like my house.
All right, son.
All right, Doug. Nice talking to you. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Peace, love.